looking at this guy.
Is it possible to do an online demo? Sure. Okay. Good.
No problem.
They can still see it in like if I open a new tab, does the remote see? Okay, cool. Then there should be no complications at all. So, okay, here today I'm all alone speaking about online payment in VuFind. This is one step in our ongoing process of bringing some of the sort of local customizations we've done during the few last years, or 13 last years, to upstream version of VuFind. And we try to do this for different things that could be of use for others as well. Okay, so what is it all about? Online payment allows one to pay fines or any other fees if allowed by the library without visiting the library, which of course loses the aspect of shame in paying your fines, which can be a problem, but hey, people like to do it online and be able to resume their activities that they were blocked from doing because they had too many fines. So VuFind can function as a bridge between the ILS and a payment gateway that actually handles the payment. And the architecture is such that VuFind supports pluggable adapters for different payment gateways, which I'm sure there are plenty. And some of them are national, some of them are like more international style. But we have support for a couple already built in. So about the features in online payment. First of all, the user can choose what fees to pay if the ILS supports that. Apparently, for some reason which I don't understand, people only want to pay the very minimum so that they can get out of the blocked status. And I suppose you could consider that sort of an interest-free loan from the library. So I guess that's why. And then there's bulk payment support when the ILS does not support payment by fine. There is support also for PDF receipt, if enabled and if desired. It's sort of an odd thing because VuFind is not actually doing the transaction, but it's something that certain libraries want. So the user can show some sort of a proof that they've actually paid something. The whole payment thing also can be blocked if a user has certain kinds of fees, such as item replacement fee or something like that, so that there is still the aspect of shame. They have to go to the library and beg for forgiveness. There are ways to do tax rate mappings so that different kinds of payments can have different value-added tax rates and stuff like that, because at least in Finland, the normal overdue fees are tax-free. But then if you allow users to pay replacement fees or such, they may be subject to value-added tax. Though I'm not sure if there are, because no one really is. There is some say that yes, they are, and some say no, they aren't. And that's why it's important also to be able to block paying. Although I don't know what happens in the library. Okay, and then there is the administration UI for managing the payments. So if there is some sort of an issue, a payment doesn't go through to the ILS for some reason, then the VuFind administration can check out what's happened with the payment, what the problem is with the ILS, and then either cancel it or kind of approve it or mark it done, and then go to the ILS and do the rest as desired. There are, of course, some requirements. The library system needs to be able to handle the payments. So in addition to, of course, displaying the fines to the user, which most ILSs can do, there needs to be functions for marking either one or a bulk of the fines paid by the user. And there are different implementations of what is. It's some systems just take an amount paid and they just apply it to the user's account the way they choose to be bit. So there's not much control over that. But then some allow more fine-grained control. And of course, the library system, the ILS drivers in VuFind are the normal ones that are currently used. So any ILS that has any support can be added if it's not coming out of the box. Then, of course, a payment gateway. So VuFind doesn't actually handle the financial transaction. That's delegated to an external system that has access to the banking systems and whatever methods for payment are available. And then there is need to set up a background job in VuFind to manage delayed payment registrations and reporting. At the time being, there is support for 3 different ILSs in VuFind. One is for the demo driver, which is used for testing and demoing, like I'm going to try in the next few minutes. And then Koha and Sierra, because those are the ones we use, and those are the ones that I was able to test with. But any other system can be added if there is just the aforementioned support in the API of the library system. Currently, VuFind comes out of the box with support for Stripe. That's available in a global way, and at least used in US a lot. I don't know about its spread in other countries. Then there is Paytrail, which is sort of a Nordic and particularly in Finland, used by almost everyone. Well, not almost everyone, but quite a few organizations. And then there is also a test gateway that's actually built into VuFind. I said that there is no transactions handling in VuFind. So it doesn't really handle any real transactions. It can be just used to test the sort of flow. It just provides buttons for saying cancel, approve, or fail this payment. And like I mentioned, others can be added as plugins. The system is designed to allow for quite a versatile ways of payment gateways doing their job, because the APIs are so different, and this Stripe and Paytrail, for instance, work in quite different ways. But we can support, well, I think it's kind of bold to say any payment gateway, but quite a few without any further changes. And now this would be the part where I switch to the browser to try to show you. Oh, and then there is the first problem that this is not a QWERTY display, the QWERTY keyboard. Okay, at least it's loading. That's cool. Do we need to do any changes? Yeah. Okay, cool. Now I just need to adjust myself somehow. Okay, this sort of vanilla VuFind demo instance, and I'm going to log in with the demo credentials. And now it's all up to a chance if I can pay anything. And this time I can't, because this is giving me random fines from the demo driver. And as it happens, we have now some fines that cannot be paid. There is a manual fee that I've configured to be unpayable online. So the only thing that's different from a regular VuFind instance is that there is a message. You have fees that cannot be paid online. Please contact the library customer service. Now, let's do some magic. Suddenly, I have a new set of fines, which is a much nicer list. So much shorter. Now, I'm suddenly allowed to pay these fines because they're all only overdue fines. And what I now get is the total balance and also the list of fines that are payable. And there could be also a minimum payable amount so that people don't get online to pay for 10 cents just for the library to pay 50 cents for the transaction or something like that. And remaining balance. Now I can choose, for instance, 1, and the minimum amount disappears because it's no longer an issue, and remaining balance is adjusted accordingly. Of course, I can also choose to pay everything, so there is no longer any balance remaining. So if I go just and pay this one because it's a big one, I get this display. And this is for GDPR compliance and whatever, so that the user can see what's going to happen next. Behind the scenes, VuFind checks again that the fines haven't been updated in the meantime, that the fine displayed and selected is still valid, and displays this dialog that the user can see that, okay, then my name, address, library card number, and the information, of course, about the fees to be paid is going to be relayed to the payment intermediator. Can cancel, of course. Oh, I don't want this. I'll go to the library instead. Or accept the payment. Now, this is actually connected to a sandbox in Stripe. And Stripe is nice in a way that anyone can create an account and get test credentials for using it. And it's fairly easy to set up. You just need to put those keys in VuFind configuration. And then you can kind of see how things would really feel. Although you can't use your own credit card. You have to use the test cards. Now I hope I remember that there is a card like this. Also nice for demo instances because I don't want to show you any real card. Okay, don't need a card holder's name or anything, but hey, anyway, country or region was auto completed here. And then there are different ways, and of course, Stripe configuration kind of decides what's available. Depending on your needs, you can enable payment by card or whatever. Okay, and of course you can save your information for faster checkout, which is kind of odd in the case you're only paying fines, not checking anything out. But okay, this is the information here. Okay, now I pay. It wants the name. Oops. Processing payment. It went through, but something happened, and the payment wasn't registered in VuFind yet. This is because the demo driver sometimes throws an exception when configured to do so. It makes easier. It makes testing of this easier, and makes it possible to try out different scenarios and how to handle this. At this moment, when the payment has failed, the background job I mentioned should be running, maybe once every minute or so that it can retry the payment. You can configure how many times the retry loop does retry before it's considered a permanent failure. Some ILSs have transient errors in their APIs, so it makes sense to retry a couple of times. But if the error is due to, for instance, double payment, that shouldn't be possible, but still somehow happens sometimes in some weird circumstances when someone goes to the payment screen and then they go to the payment screen on another device. They pay their fines and then they pay them again. I don't know why, but it still happens once in a while. It could be a technical issue as well. Some systems sometimes give the fines wrong IDs, and then they don't match anymore when they should be registered. Anyway, I can try here to go back, which the user wouldn't have to. No, not gonna work. I suppose I need to do the magic. But I can't. I can't pay anymore. I have new set of fines, but since the payment is still being processed, and I actually forgot to set up the background job, this is the permanent situation now. So the user still sees the error message that the payment has been charged, but the registration has been delayed. So either wait or contact the library if it doesn't clear. And if the background job finds that a payment doesn't go through, it can send email to staff to alert them that there is something to be done to handle to fix the problem. Now, if everything goes well, and I can find why, I can go to demo instance and oops. Oh. Big capital. So difficult to use by looking the other way. Now, if we go to online payment here, which is new, we can see that there is actually one payment that has a registration failure. It's not exactly beautiful. So if you want something pixel perfect, you need to adjust a little bit. But it conveys all the required information anyway. And you can see all the details about what happened, about the payment. There is a remote identifier that comes from Stripe. There is a local transaction ID that we generate in VuFind. Information about the user and what happened and what's the message from the ILS driver. And then there is actually something that Damien mentioned in the new features. There is a list of events, and this is looking horrible because there is an error message that's so long that it takes all the space. But anyway, it starts with the payment being created, redirect to payment gateway, response got, mark was paid, registration was requested, and it failed because the demo driver decided so. So at this point, I can just say that, yeah, no problem. Mark this resolved, and now this failed, which also, of course, happens during the demo. And there's something I need to fix. So I can't resolve this. So the user can't pay any further fines until I fix the bug and resolve the issue. But in theory, I could have resolved it here and the user could have continued. It's so useful to have a demo because it just always brings up all the bugs. And what happens in the background is also important. Many gateways send a sort of a notification to the calling application that the payment has occurred, just in case the user doesn't return properly to the originating system. And that happens also, I don't remember if Stripe actually does that. Not sure. Some do. But anyway, VuFind supports that as well. So there can be like a concurrent notification while the user is coming back. Then the registration starts only once, either when the user comes back or the background notification comes. And then magic happens and the fines get paid and everyone's happy, unless something goes wrong. And like you saw, any further payment is blocked after payment until registration with TLS is complete. Of course, we don't want the users messing up more before we are through with the payment. If there is need for reimbursement, that's handled in the payment gateway typically. So while VuFind stores all the information needed to kind of check what happened, it doesn't store any of the payment method information or any of the information required to reimburse the user or their credit card or whatever it was. So that's left to the payment gateway. So VuFind only stores the transaction identifiers and the timestamps and the events. The configuration is kind of complicated or simple, depending on your case. If it's a simple case and you don't need any tax rate mappings or any kind of sub-company mappings or things like that, you just set up a few settings, the payment gateway, credentials, everything like that, and you're done. You can try with the demo driver to see how things go. You can try with real data from the ILS or the demo payment gateway to see how things work. But remember, the background task needs to be running so that anything that goes wrong live can be fixed in the background. Then the received content and style can be also configured or customized to your needs if you enable it. So it's a template. It goes to MPDF to generate a PDF from the template, but the template is just CSS and HTML. That's it. Almost perfect demo. But now I have something to fix. Thank you.